Every real estate journey is unique. That's why we created the AOF Real Estate Team, a full-service solution built to support you at every stage. Whether you're building wealth through strategic investments, need hassle-free property management, or want to maximize your sale price as a Scott McGilvery trusted team, we've assembled all key services under one roof. First-time buyer or seasoned investor, our dedicated client success team ensures your experience is seamless from start to finish. At AOF, we make real estate simple, profitable, and stress-free. The AOF Real Estate Team, your journey, our expertise.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the AOF Monthly Update. My name is Kellen. I've got Spencer, Drew, Kev with me today. Going to talk about what's going on in the Edmonton area market, some stats, new construction resale. We might as well just dive right into it. Spence, what are those stats looking like from the Ray here?
All right, so for a quick kind of recap on the stats, and I'm just going to give the stats for the Greater Edmonton area rather than just Edmonton because we got to focus on the Greater Edmonton area. But if you look at listings, listings were down 10.5% in August versus 2024 August. But they are up about 11.5% year to date versus last year. And, we are seeing a little bit more inventory on the market because of that. But we're still sitting at 3 months of inventory. So we're kind of on the edge of being a seller's market and teetering into a kind of a balanced market territory. So, things have been really strong there. As far as sales are concerned, they're off about 7.5% versus 2024. But, you're really comparing to an almost record year. The month-over-month prices for 2025 from July to August are down 0.4%, but we're still seeing a year-to-year increase of 6% versus 2025. So, all things said, the market continues to be strong in the Edmonton area.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, again, I think we're just, when we talk about, and we've talked about this the last couple of months, like summer in Edmonton, summer in Alberta in general. Now we're back to school. I know my own routine, having my oldest back to school, everything's shifted now. So the focus is, kind of getting back into that normal routine. And maybe that does include exploring some different opportunities before, the end of 2025. Like this is the last month before we're entering the last quarter of the year. And so you're really just kind of revisiting what the playbook looks like for strategies, whether that's listing, buying, just everything in general. It's kind of got everybody back into that regimented routine, or at least, the first chapter of that. But I think it'll be interesting to just see where those stats go again, moving into the last quarter of the year. One of the variables that we talked about was interest rates. Don't have a crystal ball to predict what will happen on September 17th with the overnight rate release, but a lot of analysts and a lot of projections saying this could be the first reduction in 6 months. So, we're still seeing strength in our market even through some quieter times when we're looking at it on a year-over-year comparable. But with a reduction in interest rates, with bonds softening right now, be interesting to see what these stats come 1 month from now, what we're talking about, what's happened in the market.
You bring up a good point, Kellen. There's kind of two stories when we look at real estate. There's the month over month story, and then there's also the year over year. And with real estate, we know that it's a long-term game. We look at it in a 10-year window. We're not looking to see, our houses more expensive or less expensive than they were last month. It tells us a story on where things are headed. And in the Edmonton market, we've got a very not static is the wrong word, consistent market flow. We go high in the spring, lower in the summer when it's warm. We go higher in the fall, not quite as high as the spring, and then we come back down for the winter, right? But really, what we want to look at here, and to Spencer's point, all of the trending numbers year over year are on a slight increase, and that's what we want to see. We don't want to see those big spikes. We want to see just a nice, even trajectory going upwards.
I think we've seen that too. That's kind of not just in that, we'll call it the micro of the month over month, even year over year, but on that macro is that, we always speak to strategy and just where longer term buy and holds in that macro viewpoint is to not try and let the short term micro influence anxiety, panic, stress. We are looking at it from that longer term perspective. It's easier to say than to do all the time, but again, that is part of the Edmonton strength, I would say, over the past few decades even.
Yeah, and it's about, like, we always get clients who are trying to time the market. You can't time the market. You're going to find the best deal at the best time. For our investor clientele, that means, like Drew said, it's a 10-year play. So don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about next year, but it's more of a 3, 5, 10-year window that you're looking at things. And, you know, we had a record year last year and we're still 6% higher on price right now. But the great thing with Edmonton, it hasn't really shot up too high or too low at any point. It's always been pretty steady Eddie, kind of boring, predictable, with some nice little bumps here and there. So we're kind of insulated from that big, you know, fall off the cliff in price or anything like that. So when you buy something, you know, as an investment property, right now is a great time because you have a little bit of time to think about things now. Like, you can actually sleep on it. There was a time, you know, earlier in the year where I was like, you have to make a decision right now. So you have some time to maybe look at a couple different options. We can craft offers in a way that you can still win, not only on price, but in other things that could be thrown in or whatnot. So it's still a really good time. We love to see that. There's a good chance of a rate drop as well. But yeah, it drives me nuts when someone tries to time the market, because it's really almost an impossible task. You know, when people were buying in COVID, everyone was telling those buyers, you're crazy. Why would you do it? But it ended up being one of the smartest decisions they ever made. So it's really about balance, being sure about the project or the property that you really like, and then letting us do the diligence to make sure that this is something that forecasts well 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, so that we're not just worried about what's on the news for tomorrow. We're focusing on the bigger picture, and we don't want to put you in something that isn't going to work 5, 10, 15 years from now. So that's important.
That's such a good point, Kevin. Like, focus on the fundamentals. Is the property you're buying at market value today cash flowing? Yes? Great. Then it's probably going to cash flow next year and the year after. If it's not cash flowing, if you're buying on appreciation in this market, it's not the greatest, smartest play to do. Focus on the fundamentals. Is it cash flowing? Is it a good, solid property that you're not going to have to put a ton of work into? It's simple.
I love that.
Yeah, good properties are good properties no matter where the market is, right? Like, you know, you can buy a good property in a bad market, and it's going to be a good property no matter what happens. So,
Yeah. No, very true. Yeah, I guess even just, you know, speaking to, you know, the markets that I'd say that we kind of focus in on, both the resale, new construction, purpose-built style projects. Like, we've seen some pretty strong action even since the last time that we connected on a monthly update, just with some of the projects that we'd kind of gone through the procurement and helping investors acquire, where, you know, speaking to Kevin's point, like, you don't have to, I'm not necessarily like jump the gun, but you don't have to shoot from the hip too quickly on just, you got to get in or somebody else is going to take it. Like, we can take some time, we can evaluate an offer that works for both the seller, whether that be a builder or just on the resale side, but then for the buyer. So winning on that price, winning on the terms. We've seen some great projects for investors get acquired. From in Edmonton an area, as well as the Greater Edmonton area. I just had one even just in Beaumont last week that very excited to move forward on. But yeah, there's opportunities from the quick possession to the pre-construction that are still moving. And I think with, you know, those investors making those commitments, if the rates do have, you know, a projected decrease, like, things will just kind of sweeten up. And like Drew mentioned, like, fundamentals. If it makes sense right now, and looking at cash flow, looking at those terms, you know, that long-term prospectus is going to be more favorable than rolling the dice on something that you can't really see in the micro short term being a solid investment. So it just takes that strategy, takes that trusted advisor. You know, we always look at the collaborative approach, just with like, let's talk to the lender. Let's look at conservative projections. You know, set the goalposts. Are we looking at, you know, relying on a variable to go your way and only your way to make it work is risky. Whereas the fundamentals, if we're able to evaluate in a way that there's comfort and understanding that, hey, that best case scenario is attractive, but if I'm accepting of the terms where they're maybe not everything's all stars are aligning, then yeah, we're going to be in a position to move forward. And there's plenty of opportunities out there that work. It's just a matter of doing the due diligence, working with us, working with trusted advisors in the financing side of things to really help uncover where those opportunities are.
And I think too, you know, the other thing that's kind of going on in the market right now is with the recent changes to the CMHC MLI Select program, that's kind of leveled out as well. There was a lot of uncertainty as to what was going to happen, how you were going to have to approach it. But, you know, as the facts come out and it becomes clear, I feel like there's a lot of people that were on the fence that have kind of walked away and said, you know what, this is too much for me. You know, maybe they didn't have good people in their, or maybe they didn't have good people in their corner who really understood what was going on. And those people have kind of fallen away and said, the MLI Select program is too much for me. I don't want to really even utilize it. Whereas the other people that dug in took a little pause, understood what was going on, what the requirements are, you know, when it comes to suites and mechanical rooms. And you know, the rates were a little bit higher, but as Kellen said, they're starting to trend down now. Things are starting to make sense, and opportunities are becoming more clear than they have been in the last little while, with less competition in that space.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and this is a vehicle, like, you know, I'm broken record on this podcast, but MLI Select is just the best financing in the world, and it's not going to be there forever. Like, it's something that I predicted it was going to change, and it was never as good as it was going to be initially, and everyone was taking advantage of it, and it kind of started getting out of the realms of what the program was designed for. But now with a little bit less competition, rates trending downwards, and we're seeing, you know, some lower down payment stuff again, kind of creeping in through different projects and offerings that we've acquired. It's why, you know, summer in Edmonton's usually slow, but we've had quite a few clients move ahead with projects. And it's those savvy investors that are not thinking about, okay, well, what are these worth tomorrow or whatever. They're trying to secure a project that works perfectly tailor-made for this financing. Because if you poll our clients that have done these deals, it's not about, oh, I wish I got $5,000 less on this. It's more, I wish I bought 2 or 3 of these, and how do I get more? So it's about acquiring as much as you can, using the program to your advantage, and leveraging the program to put less of your money into something that you can own on a multifamily basis. Like, it's so unique. I bet you if you poll majority of investors, they don't really know the full realm of this financing, just because it sounds too good to be true, but it really is great, especially if you're working with a professional that is an expert on it. And that's why, you know, with our P2P, you know, you might have heard Kellen talk about that before, but we really have everything covered between lenders, property managers. Like, one of the things when people are a little bit nervous, like, one of the best things that we do is we have in-house property management. We know exactly what rents, how fast they rent, what is in demand, and we really create these projects on that demand. So you have the opportunity to talk to one of our property managers and ask them, hey, what about this area? Talk about stuff that's not part of our in-house property or project, and get a feel. Like, we will constantly, I know, Drew, you see this all the time, we get clients at different risk levels. They are chasing cash flow and they're okay with a little bit higher risk area. And then we have clients that want, you know, they don't want to be up all night worrying if they're going to get their their rent, and they want to be in premium areas with A+ tenant profile types. And that's really an area we focus on, but we still have clients that like to go in the maybe a little bit more high risk, but they're more well insulated with a lot of good investment properties that they bought over the time to help kind of protect them, shield them. So it's really about just nailing down all the information you can get, really get comfortable. And that's probably the strongest point of this team is we will hold your hand, walk you through the whole process and make it as easy to understand and the information easy to digest. And you just, you go through the diligence, and I think you'll feel good at the end of it.
You got a support cast, right? We've got layers to the team to help in all those different facets, whatever the risk tolerances you alluded to, but just market demands that are not even demands, I guess, but just requisites. People like to be in different areas, different products, whatever that looks like. That's what a well-tailored team like AOF, that's what we can do to help. So well said. I don't know if you guys got anything else, but it will be interesting. I'm excited to see when we talk about the cycles of different markets leading into the fall here, talking about, where that interest rate, where the mortgage bonds will sit in 1 month's time is, it's just, that's why we love to do these videos, to get a pulse on what's going on in the market. Today focusing in a lot of the stat heavy, but then looking at what we're seeing boots on the ground, even for our team. But most of the vacations are all over. Kids are back in school. Activities are going on. Kevin's firing sub 80 scores on the golf course.
Broke 80.
David,
yes,
conversations
78.
are still ongoing. Hey, things are going to start falling into piece here, hey?
I'm just looking for his next Oilers prediction.
Well, if McDavid doesn't re-sign by the start of the season, I will not be well, and there'll be a video of me crying on here again. So I really hope he signs. That'd make me very happy. So,
But
I'm not well.
Edmontonians.
He's keeping everybody in suspense.
Yeah.
The whole nation.
All right. Well, thank you, boys. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in, and have a great week and month ahead. We'll chat in about 30 days or so.
Sounds good. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
It's simple as 1, 2, 3. Everyone's got the recipe. Simple as can be. Trust in us and you will see. We make real estate easy. So easy, believe me. We're here to serve, give you what you deserve. All under one roof, that's our proof. It's still the last one to me.